Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
Welcome back to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted. The cryptic is cryptic as fuck. And the cats are a little crazy.
The cryptics are cryptid as fuck. And I'm Kelsey.
Laughing about the stupid cat. What was he doing during that intro?
Oh, I'm pretty sure, tapping Morse code messages out to somebody.
SOS.
Using his tail.
SOS.
He's like, fuck you. I hate you. You're so mean to me.
Oh, yeah, we were just having a little chat about how they can really just be needy when you need them not to be.
He's got his head smushed to the wall and now he's just staring up like, ugh.
How dare you not make me your priority?
Yeah, these 2 hours once a week. Oh, I'm not the center of your world.
My dog doesn't understand why he can't get in the car every time. So they don't let you in the library and you poop in my car.
Yeah.
Oh my god. All right, well, we do some pet chat, but this is episode 175.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Right? Last episode of January. You made it through the long winter, you sweet summer child. We're going to make it.
Right?
The days are getting longer. It's kind of nice. So.
Yeah, there was a little, I don't know, almost like a little snowfall that happened yesterday evening, right? Maybe within an hour before the sun went down. And It was really nice because the sun had started to set, so half the sky was kind of like, had gone from gray and overcast looking to like pink. And then all of a sudden, after the snow stopped falling, the part that was still kind of gray and not really pink kind of broke up. So it wasn't gray anymore. It was like bright blue with like white fluffy clouds. And I was like, oh my god, it looks like a beautiful summer day. And then I look at the other side of the sky and it's kind of overcast but tinged pink. And I was like, what is happening? The sky looks like cotton candy.
I haven't seen blue sky, I feel like.
I know, it was really weird. It was such vivid, like, ocean blue, and then white, nice, fluffy clouds. I was like, what the heck? And then, like, 20 minutes later, the sun had gone down and it was gone. I was like, oh.
Cerulean blue, yeah.
Yeah,
no, because
really
when I was leaving work, sorry, no, but when you said the snow thing, I was, like, about to leave work, and people, as everyone's getting done for the day, they're like, oh, my phone just said there's a snow squall coming up. It's like, because we had quite a bit of snow recently, and we're like, oh, no, not when we have to go home, It's like, can it wait a little bit? But it was fun.
Yeah, it would have been about that time. It was between 4 and 5 p.m. here. So, yeah. Gordo, your fucking tail! I can't be near the laptop. Meow. You're just hitting me. You're gonna get locked out of the room. You're gonna have one more chance.
That's right. Like, what's his name from the Trader and his 4 cats? He said, no, they're locked out of the room. And they play a game on that one where they try to lie to each other. And she said, is that your lie, that you really you don't have 4 cats? You're not a cat person? He's like, no. Unfortunately, that's true. I can't have them in here when I'm recording. I'm like, yeah, they can be crazy. I don't blame him. But then sometimes it's annoying to keep them out. Like,
yeah, that's why I don't like doing it, because Gordo will like attack the door handle, and I feel like that's an annoying sound. I'm just like,
right?
He's like trying to get in. I just scared him. He's like, what? There's another cat here trying to get in?
Oh my god.
No, that's me imitating you. His eyes are so wide. It's like went to full hunter mode. Yeah. Damn.
After a brief cat interlude, we are back to our intro. Oh, what were we going to talk about?
Patreon.
Welcome back. Patreon. Yeah, there's a new thing. They're always adding new things and it's fun. And one of the ones I made sure we could do now was that you could do a free trial. So yeah, a lot of other podcasts I'd heard about, doing the free week thing, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And so yeah, now all of our tiers, you're able to try them, like sign up for a week for free. You can check out all the damn content, and then yeah, you don't have to pay. You can, unsubscribe, whatever. You could go down to a lower level. You can do whatever. But yeah, it's definitely a way if you want to try it, you can. So you can go to patreon.com/castles and cryptids, and that's where all our bonus episodes are. So thank you for everyone that's subscribed and commented and liked all our stuff, because I really enjoy it when I know that people are listening to the bonus content.
We like the engagement.
It's true, and we have some fun on some of those episodes. Like we were just picking our next one coming up, so that should be fun. Sometimes they're fun, sometimes they're funny. Yeah,
movie discussion episode, because we love movies. If you've been here, repeat listener, you know how easily we can get on a movie tangent. What did you watch this week?
Yeah.
6 hours later.
It's our side movie podcast. No, yeah. It's fun to do a rewatch recap kind of situation where we can react, and like whether if you guys have seen it or not, like you can maybe decide if you want to see something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were definitely talking about some fun watches recently, so there's always something coming out.
Yeah.
And we are all here for the horror stuff, that's for sure. I was so excited they had on Smartlist the other day. They had the guy that owns the Blumhouse or whatever. Jason Blum. They had him on Smartlist, and I was like, oh, they're friends with the Blum guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like all the movies, they're talking about how it was hard to get Paranormal Activity, off the whatever, like, because people were like, oh, it's shitty or whatever, how hard it is to get new movies started. Yeah. And then like eventually just kind of like whatever got made as it did, and it was really interesting. So I love that.
Nice.
But
that, and they're talking about now kind of A24. Is that the new one? They did The Substance and some other ones recently. People are like, wow, like A24 is doing good.
Okay. So this is a different like production company then.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, but I do know everybody kind of says like if it's Blumhouse, it's kind of okay, you're guaranteed to at least semi enjoy this movie. Like they got some good like history with the releases.
Yeah. Get a good reputation or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
cool.
That's what we hope for. A good reputation. Yeah. Maybe we're not going to have those type of guests, but we we have our fun in other ways. Oh, guests, no, it'd be so stressful. Although the occasional other person steps on the mic, and that can be funny. We've done that on Patreon before when Pat stepped in to react to the bling ring, and I enjoyed it because he always has opinions. Oh my god. Anyway, you loyal fans, you never know. You get to pick a topic on Patreon when you join at the highest level. Maybe we'll let you have a voice in the show, give you a shout out, let you come on for a segment. Oh, that could be super fun.
Yeah.
Other than like tech stuff never works for us, but that's okay. We make it happen.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
We could totally figure it out. Because you guys are the best. I love our listeners, and yeah, we should probably tell them what we're talking about this week, I guess.
We have some survival stories, like true crime type ones.
Mm-hmm. So very kind of more inspiring, I would say, than your normal true crime ending.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Hopeful, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sometimes people do get away. It can happen. Shit. You gotta do the things right. Or
Right?
be lucky. I guess
Yeah,
sometimes.
sometimes it's luck, sometimes it's, I don't
Oops.
know, the right circumstances line up. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
how they handle a situation or kind of keeping your cool.
This is so true. And there's so many. Oh my God. Where I started out,
Yeah,
like, I was like, I don't know how to choose.
I think I had heard of the show before, but at least my case was featured on an episode of I Survived, I think it's called.
Okay. Mine
Yeah.
too. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, and they do like
I'm not sure
not
what.
just true crime ones, but like I think the episode I ended up watching for my case, I kind of skipped through the segments that didn't really involve mine, but there was like a husband and wife that had been hiking that the husband got attacked by a fucking mountain lion.
Oh
And
shit.
then there was some sort of, the third story was like some crazy hostage one that I might go back and watch because it said it was like 20-hour long
Oh.
crazy hostage situation. I was like, ooh,
Oh wow.
why
Okay.
why does that pique my interest? It's
Shit.
like, um
Sounds like they get out. I mean, obviously it's not I survived, but yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that seems like a really good show. I don't know, like, where did you find it eventually?
I
Online
found
or?
my episode. It took me a little bit to actually figure out what episode it was featured on.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I ended up being able to find it on YouTube. So,
Okay. YouTube to the rescue. The
but
tube of you.
it looks like a lot of the episodes that end up getting posted get blocked for like copyright.
Okay.
I found playlists that said they were supposed to be 90 episodes long, and it said like there's 75 episodes hidden, and I'm like, oh cool.
Oh no.
Like, so there's
Yeah.
15 that haven't been flagged for copyright, you mean? Like, wow.
I guess I
Uh,
get that you can't have a certain amount of percentage of your content be comprised of other people's content. I mean, I wouldn't want
yeah, but
other people
typically,
to do that.
I don't know, typically older shows, they don't really care as much. Like, I know Forensic Files is
Yeah,
basically up there. Um,
I suppose
in
it's really
almost
out
all their
there.
episodes, in full episodes, like sometimes even it looks like the
Oh,
official like production companies or even the ones on YouTube that are uploading it.
weird.
uh it really depends.
I still can't get over that we have an IMDb page. That was weird.
Right, I ended up looking it up and it said we're American. We need to figure out how to
Wait.
fix that. It said
Oh
we're an
no.
American podcast and we're based out of America, and I said
Oh
no,
no. It's like
no,
I'll be
it's
listening to
in our
Wick.
intro, we're Canadian, eh?
It's like I'll listen to Wiki Hole with Darcy Carden from The Good Place,
uh,
and then like people, so they obviously reference Wikipedia quite a lot because it's about going down a Wikipedia rabbit hole, right? Where you
yeah.
look up one thing and then whatever, and then they'll be like, if anyone could do anything about like yeah this misinformation or this, oh, the picture they have of us on Wikipedia is so like far away and whatever. Everyone's like
Nice.
trying to get shit changed. I'm like, oh no. And now I kind of know how it feels, I guess. It's like having
Yeah.
misinformation on our Wikipedia page, which I don't think we have one of those, but that would be wild to find out.
Right?
You're like,
Maybe one day.
yeah, what do they just upload podcasts there? I don't get it, but
I don't
okay.
know. It also said like if you have more information and can help continue to fill out this
Oh,
page, please submit it. And I was like, well, y-
interesting. Okay, because there's
uh
some podcast websites that are sort of like that, like Goodreads or the what's the one used for the movies with the red.
oh, Letterboxd.
Thank you. Yes, that one. Yeah, there's some like that where you can add info. Anyway, too funny.
Hey, I'm following Mike Flanagan on that, and the amount of times I click on a movie and then it says like, Mike Flanagan wants to watch this. And I was like, well, I just did Mike Flanagan, and it was great.
Too funny. He
Or
wants to
it's
watch it.
like, yeah, because you can follow like certain celebrities, have them
Aw.
like available, and you can see like what they're watching, and they sometimes
Okay.
even do reviews and stuff, which is fun. I
One more
follow like a
thing.
couple directors on there. Yeah.
Okay. But did you know, before we get off this tangent, that he is married to that the girl that's in the Haunting of Hill House,
Yeah.
the
I can't remember
sister
her name.
that can't touch anybody. Okay. I don't think I
Yeah.
did until we were watching like this. Pat watches the one that's about different horror movie tropes and stuff, and so it'll have different people talking. It's almost like a
Oh yeah.
documentary style. Yeah, I can't remember what it's called right now, but I was like, I didn't know she was married to it. Okay,
Oh,
anyway.
that's why she's like main in almost
I
everything.
guess. And I really like her as an actress. I was just like, oh, why don't we see her in more stuff? But anyway.
I don't know when they got together, if it was like, because
Don't
I
remember
think he
her
directed
name.
Hush. I think he directed Hush, and
Oh,
that's the
that was a
one where
good one.
she's like deaf and everything. That was probably one of the first like Mike Flanagan
Right.
things I saw.
Okay, yeah. Kate Siegel. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't know. She's just hot and he's a little balding, but that's okay.
Hey, he's fantastic.
I'm not judging.
That's a power couple right there. He can continue to write absolutely amazing shows on, what did he move over to Prime now, because like fuck Netflix.
Maybe.
They kept canceling his stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
So
good
now
for
he's
them
over at
though.
Prime, and he can take his wife with him, and we can continue to watch her be awesome.
Exactly. That's funny.
Anyway,
Continue.
are you ready for my story?
Oh yeah. Start. No.
Right? We have to start. We haven't even started yet.
I'm like, you may begin. No.
You may begin. Pencils up. You may begin. Open your book.
Or as they say in the traders, the time for talk is over.
Yeah, I liked this story. I think I found it just on a little kind of listicle.
It's always a
But
listicle.
yeah, I liked this one for like my point of like keep it how you react in a situation, and like keep calm and kind of make a decision of, okay, like how can I get out of this?
Right. How do
And
people
this
deal
one's,
under pressure? Yeah.
yeah, this one's pretty wild. I don't think I had ever heard of this one before. It's
Okay,
Jennifer
damn.
Holliday and Anna Franklin. They're two cousins.
Oh, okay.
So it's 2 a.m. On May 29th, 2005 in Lufkin, Texas. And
Texas.
27 Texas Lufkin. I've never heard of Lufkin before. I don't think it's very big. What did I
Not sure.
find somewhere? It's like however far away from Houston, I think. I don't think I kept that in my notes. But Jennifer Holliday, she's 27 years old, and she was an EMT.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, so she's driving. It's about 2 a.m. and she had just picked up her 18-year-old cousin Anna Franklin from a house where Anna had been babysitting.
Oh, so she's not like on the job at the time?
No, she she was just picking up her cousin who had been babysitting
Oh,
for
okay.
somebody. Yeah. And the pair had decided on the way back to stop at a convenience store. And after going in, getting their things, they got back into Jennifer's Ford Explorer, and they had started driving back down the highway when they noticed that a truck that had been parked at the convenience store is now following them, and had been for a while, I guess.
Uh-oh.
The truck that was following them, we later learned is being driven by this Eric Stephen Parnell. And he was following pretty closely behind the cousins for miles. Both
Ugh.
vehicles were, according to the I Survived episode, Jennifer said that they were traveling about 70 miles an hour on the highway when Parnell pulled his truck up alongside the girl's vehicle, and Parnell suddenly like reached across and pulled out a shotgun like with one
Oh.
hand and kind of pointed it at the vehicle and then shot into Jennifer's Ford.
Whoa. That
Yeah,
got
like on the
insane.
highway. Right? I was like, that's crazy. So
Right? Like you're like, oh, everybody thinks we have the most aggressive drivers here or whatever. Like Alberta, where we live, is
yeah,
not known for that. Like, it's pretty common for people to be like, holy shit, people get road rage. What the hell? But that's
yeah.
crazy.
So he shoots into the Ford. It, I guess, seems to hit Jennifer like in her left arm, just above the elbow, and she describes it in the episode as it basically severs her arm. Like the bone is shattered and it's
Oh,
hanging on by just a little bit of skin. Like gone.
shit. Shotgun blast, right. And she's
Yeah.
not driving?
She's driving
Oh
on the
my
highway.
god.
Yeah.
Okay.
She said she didn't really like she was in shock. She didn't really understand what happened and she just like kind of slowed down the vehicle and pulled over, and
Oh
that's
god.
when she kind of realized what was going on. And of course,
Wow.
Anna's like freaking out, her younger cousin. So they pull over to the side of the road. Once Jennifer realizes what happened, she gives her phone, her cell phone, to Anna and tells Anna to call the police. So Anna's like
Okay.
trying to call the police, and I think she might get on the phone with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but at this point, they're unaware that Parnell had pulled up along behind them on the side of the road and gotten out with the shotgun and was approaching their vehicle.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he's not giving up, I guess.
No.
What the
Uh,
hell?
Jennifer says that he stopped at her door and then reached across, like past her, through to where Anna was sitting in the passenger side, and he grabbed the cell phone out of her hand. She says that he like said hello to whoever was on the other line, if it was the police or what, but then he like throws the cell phone in the ditch.
Jesus. This is
Yeah.
very horror movie.
Right. That's what everything on YouTube was saying. Like, this is a horror movie. Like, it's crazy.
I remember we watched one where that was like the plot, that they got into almost like a road rage altercation, and then what, he follows the lady and her kids and stuff, and I can't
Oh.
remember, but it's like it was pretty fucking scary. You're like, shit, this seems so
Right? Because
real.
that's like, yeah, it is something that could be so real.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so he reaches across, he throws the phone away, and then he steps back, raises the gun up again, and then shooting like past Jennifer, he shoots at Anna, 18-year-old Anna Franklin, and shoots her in the temple with the
Oh.
shotgun, and she dies like immediately.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Hannah. Oh.
Right? I feel so bad. Like, the only solace is that it was immediate. Like,
That is so
yeah.
fucked up. She did not deserve to go that way.
Right?
Yeah, this is just bizarre. Just like,
Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess before she had like, when she had stopped, and when he had started backing up after he had thrown the phone away, Anna had been like screaming at Jennifer to try and drive away, like telling her, go, go,
oh,
go, go. But like Jennifer, her arm is like blown off and she's losing so much blood.
oh my
Like, it
god.
probably wouldn't have even been safe to try and drive away. Like, and who knows
Shit.
what could have happened. She could have died. They could have both died in a car accident if she had even tried driving away. But yeah.
Yeah. They're not in a good position, either of them, at that point.
No, yeah. So at this point, Anna, she's been shot and killed. And this second blast had also seriously wounded Jennifer again,
Oh
spraying
my
more
god.
pellets into her arm, her chest, her neck.
Oof.
Yeah. Parnell, like, opened up the vehicle and he dragged Jennifer from it and dragged her and put her into his truck. He then briefly left Jennifer unattended in his vehicle while she was bleeding heavily from the Morty. Oh my god, the Morty. the more than it's like I didn't write these notes. The more than 40 shotgun pellet wounds that she had sustained.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, can you imagine? Oh.
Shit.
Yeah, I guess while he was gone, Jennifer says it looked like he was attempting to try and move Anna's body away from the scene, like maybe to bring it with them, or at least hide it so it wasn't like as noticeable on the side of the road. Like, because I think their vehicle was on the side of the highway.
Oh, yeah.
So he wanted it to maybe look like a car accident or something. Not so like, boom, there's a dead body right there.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah, a little
Damn.
weird. Like, Parnell is really weird. He's messed
I
up.
don't understand his
No!
reasoning or
Yeah, we'll get more to
okay.
him.
Yeah.
So while he's trying to do this, Jennifer's alone. She starts surveying her surroundings now that she's in his vehicle. She sees the shotgun that Parnell had left, like he had shot them with. He had left it on the front seat, and she was in the front. So she recalls in the episode of I Survived thinking, here I am thinking, hey, I'm fixing to get rid of the only weapon he's got. And I took the shotgun and threw it out of the window, and it landed on the highway, she said.
That's so Texas to say I'm fixing to get the
Yeah.
When I used to bartend, I had a guy that came up from Texas for work, Lawrence, and yeah, he'd be like, I'm fixing to get another beer, that kind of thing. He'd also
Like,
turn his
okay.
empty beer bottle upside down and pretend to squeeze it out, like he could wring out another drop from it, and I'd be like, okay, I know you need another beer.
That's funny.
It was cute.
Jennifer then noticed several other guns were scattered throughout the vehicle. So she got rid of the shotgun he had used, but now realizes he has dozens of guns all over.
Oh, okay.
And by this point, Parnell had returned after basically giving up trying to move Anna's body. And he got back in the vehicle and begins to drive himself and Jennifer away from the scene.
Okay.
And yeah, after exiting off the highway onto a remote back road, Jennifer tried to figure out what her next move was going to be. She says, quote, I remember trying to decide, okay, should I try to grab his gun and use it, or should I, I'm going to die regardless, she recalls, so should I at least go for it? What do you do? Because she really, really thinks she's gonna die no matter what, so she's trying to decide, should I go out trying to take him with me, or what? All the while, she's describing Parnell's behavior as becoming more erratic, and he's starting to become violent, saying as they were getting further away from town. She said that he would hit me, and then he would rage, and then he would start laughing. Like, was he mad, or think we were somebody else? Like, she maybe thought he was like having hallucinations or something, like didn't understand what was going on.
Right. Like just associating or whatever.
Yeah, so eventually Parnell pulls over through the empty back roads, and he pulls over to the side of the road and ends up dragging her from the truck again, where he proceeds to sexually assault her while they're on the side of the road.
Wow. Ballsy.
Right?
Pardon the gross term, but yeah.
Afterward, she's put back in the truck again, and at this point Jennifer says he's a different person.
Oh.
She says that he would start crying and then he would start saying, "Oh my god, what happened to your arm?" Because keep in mind, her arm is
What?
basically like severed and like hanging there. Uh,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like keep in mind
He's
that's
like, God, I thought
that's
she'd bleed out by the time I was done this. Now I have to talk to her still. No, I don't know.
yeah, but he's like
My
he kept
God.
asking her and she was so confused, like saying, "Oh my god, what happened to your arm?" And then he would go back to just screaming and raving.
What
Um,
the
she
fuck,
says in
bud?
the right, she says in the I Survived episode, that she at this point tries to like level with him, saying like I'm a single mom, decides to tell him about like her 6-year-old son that she has,
Okay.
trying to like humanize herself and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. But as Parnell's behavior becomes more unhinged, Jennifer realized she may be able to use it to her advantage. And this is where she uh really starts to like mess with him, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
So all while bleeding from like her dozens of wounds, Jennifer began talking to Parnell in an overly affectionate manner, as he
Mm-hmm.
continued to drive them around on back roads. Um, yeah, she said in the episode she was like rubbing his leg, she was even like kissing his shoulders, his neck.
Oh
Uh,
boy.
she said I was
Okay.
telling him that was great, that was wonderful, and thank you for this good time, pretending to
Oh.
really, really enjoy what had happened.
Yeah.
And then she started to tell that it was definitely working. And
Wow. So brave.
right? Like, who would want to get close to him?
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, she is like bleeding profusely from her arm. Like,
Yeah, how
it's
can she even think
insane.
straight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
Um, at this point, he continues to like keep asking her about her wounds, like how she got them and what happened to her arm. So she decides to flip the story. She starts telling him about a man that she decides to name John, and said that John had shot her and that Parnell had actually pulled up and had rescued her after John shot her and left her on the side of the road to die.
Okay.
Um,
He
yeah,
likes this story. He's like, oh, I
right.
like this one better if you're telling that to the cops. Okay.
Yeah. She tells him,
Damn.
"You just picked me up there and you're going to take me back to your house, remember?" Um,
Mm.
she says he just looked at me like I was crazy or something, and he said, "Well, no." And then and I responded, "Yeah, thank you so much. You didn't see that guy, John, that just shot me? That man that just shot me and was going to leave me out there on the highway, and thank God you came along and you saved me."
Wow.
And she keeps
Crazy.
like saying it every time he's asking about her arm. She keeps telling him like, "Oh, you saved me, you're my hero, like you're
Yeah.
gonna
He's
let..."
clearly in some sort of psychotic episode. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I guess through Jennifer repeatedly telling Parnell that he had been the one to actually rescue her and not the one to shoot her, he had begun to genuinely believe her story, that he had nothing to do with her injuries and he had not even killed Anna, and that he had even rescued Jennifer.
Wow.
As she sat there repeatedly thanking him, she began to put pressure on him more and more, for him to like take her back to his house so she could phone the police.
Dang.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Right? I'm like, out of the listicle, I'm like, this one stuck with me, and I was like, I gotta watch this episode and hear her tell it because it's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, she says, I just kept telling him, "Aren't you gonna let me use your phone? Because I'm losing a lot of blood here." And he kept saying, "I know, you're bleeding everywhere." Like, yes, thank you.
You're getting all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Um, I guess at some point when they had been driving around, Jennifer had been given one of his shirts that she had like tied around her arm to use as a tourniquet that like somewhat helped to slow the bleeding. But
Mm.
remember, she has like 40 wounds between like her neck, her chest, and her arm. It's not just her basically severed
Oh,
arm.
yeah. Yeah, I
Um,
am picturing mostly the amputated limb
yeah.
stump bleeding out, but yeah, I forgot about the rest of it.
Yeah. So at this point, like after the sexual assault, I guess she was never given her clothes back. So this
Oh.
entire time she's been naked. So other
Oh.
than the shirt that she uses to tie around her arm, she's still
Yeah.
naked.
Save for a
Yeah, but she's
tourniquet.
still
Okay.
like, yeah, she's still pleading with him. And Parnell, while initially refusing to let Jennifer use the phone at his home to call 911 about her attack, he's telling her that he had multiple warrants out for his arrest.
You don't say.
And I don't know if he told her at this point or if like police told her after that he had been charged with domestic violence about a year before and even making
Oh.
terroristic threats.
I
Didn't
can't
know that was
imagine
a
he'd offer
word.
that up too easily, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but he did.
interesting.
She did say that he told her specifically that like even though he had rescued her, he didn't want her calling police from his house because of these warrants he had out for his arrest. But I don't know if he like
Right.
told her what they were for.
Yeah.
But at this point, Jennifer was refusing to give up. She added more details to her story about her attacker that was named John and insisted that Parnell was her hero and that he needed to get her medical help. Otherwise, she was going to die.
Yeah, she's not wrong about the going to
Right.
die part.
Parnell finally gave in and agreed to take Jennifer to his house to call 911. Well, at the same time, I guess he was threatening her life. He
Yeah.
said I should stop acting bad and that I would end up dead like other people have ended up, and that he won't be responsible for what happens to me. Yeah, so they keep driving on the back roads. Eventually they get to his house that's very like rural and secluded. I think something said it was like 20 or so kilometers out of or like miles out of town.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was like nobody around. She said as they drove up to his house, she noticed that there was a small cemetery located that they had to kind of drive past. Like he lived behind the cemetery.
Oh,
And that
okay.
like his family lived there. They all lived in trailers. And that like his parents lived in one trailer and him and his brother in another and then somebody else in the other one. But like he was the only one that was
Okay.
there. Everybody was gone for the weekend or something.
Yeesh. I don't like the
Yeah.
cemetery part.
Right? It's just creepy. But
Yeah.
terrified, Jennifer kept the ruse going the best she could. She walked into his house, found the phone right away, and called 911. And they play like some of the 911 tape in the episode, which I thought was cool. But I do have like transcripts.
That could be so scary
It's
to listen to.
This is really common. She was like, yeah, when I called, like, you do
Yeah.
not think. She's like, yeah, hi, somebody shot me, and this man here, because he's watching her
Wow.
call 911. She's like, this man here helped me from
Oh,
the side
yeah,
of the
yeah.
road. And the operator's like, sorry,
Damn.
someone shot you? And she's like, uh-huh, my arm is in half right now. And this
Yeah,
man
yeah,
right
yeah.
here, this man right in front of me, he helped me. Like,
It's hanging
yeah.
on by a thread. Yeah.
Yeah, and they're
Damn.
asking her, like, are you from this area? And she's saying, nah. And they're like, okay, let
Okay.
me speak to this gentleman that's helping you. Okay. And she goes, okay. Meanwhile, she can hear the operator on the phone, like, tell somebody else, I've got another gunshot wound. And Jennifer just
Huh.
starts saying, same one, same one, same one. And so
Oh.
the operator goes, you're the same? And she says, yep, please hurry. So at this point, like, police had already found Jennifer's abandoned car, and they had also
Okay.
discovered Anna's body. So because it was within like the same town area, police now knew that Jennifer had been abducted and shot by the same man
In the same
that had shot
attack.
Anna. Yeah, so when
Wow.
they were saying like we
Same
have
one.
another gunshot, and she said no, same one, and they're like, oh, it's the same one. She went, yep. So now they know, like,
Interesting.
even though she's saying this guy saved me, they know he isn't.
Yeah, and like smart of her to say it that way on the phone because it doesn't alert
Right?
him that she's saying anything weird or
Yeah.
incriminating to him necessarily. Yeah,
Yeah.
just same one.
Um,
Huh.
and you can hear it on the tapes too. Like you can hear him talking in the background, you can hear the operator, like all of this. It's wild. And she's like, the same one.
Wow.
Like Jennifer remained on the phone with the 911 operator named Stephanie Davidson as they waited for the paramedics. Parnell had made her tell them that he was only allowing one ambulance to come onto his property and that no police
Oh,
officers or law enforcement were allowed, which Jennifer reassured him was no problem at all. Just telling
sure.
them they're going to be so happy that you've saved my life and you're going to be the hero of the day. Like,
Yeah, even though you're being so weird.
right? Like, yeah. Parnell gave Jennifer shorts and a t-shirt, I guess, to wear for when the ambulance came. Good of him. She's been naked for
Oh,
most of
yeah.
this.
Okay. How kind of him.
Right. While waiting for the paramedics, Jennifer became increasingly faint due to obviously like all this blood loss. And when the
Right.
operator, Stephanie Davidson, asked her to help locate the property, because it's like really rural, they don't know how to get there. She was struggling to explain how to get to it. All she could really tell them was like cemetery or something. And
Yeah,
at
she
this
doesn't know where
point,
she is.
right? At this point, it's wild because Jennifer convinces Parnell to get on the phone and speak with the dispatcher, who he then gives exact directions to get to his house. And they
Yeah,
even
well, if you're
played
a
this
trusted
part,
hero, then you should have no
right?
problem with that.
It's so weird. They're like, the
Damn.
operator's like, do you think paramedics can get to it if it's a long driveway? And he's like, I don't know if they can or not. That's why I want to walk to the end of the road, like where the cemetery
Oh.
is, and say it's right before the cemetery. So the operator responds, okay, they should be able to find it. It's kind of a ways out there and it takes them a few minutes to get out there, is all. How is she doing? Is she getting faint or anything? I know she says she's lost a lot of blood. Um, and then he responds, she acts completely okay, but I know she's scared out of her wits. And so am I, because I'm the one that picked her up. And I'm scared to
Oh.
death because I got blood from head to toe.
Oh
Like,
my God.
and
Oh, how
then
sad for you.
um I think the operator's like talking to him. I don't know if they played this in the episode or not, but in the transcript while they're still talking to him, the operator's like, well, you're doing a great job, okay? The ambulance isn't far from you. Like, oh, hang in there,
Yeah.
buddy. I'm
I
like,
mean,
damn.
can you imagine having that job? They have to keep talking to the people, like, no matter how scared they sound or how suspicious or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
So crazy.
Um, it's wild because while on the recorded call, Parnell seems to genuinely believe that he had not been the one to shoot Anna and shoot Anna and Jennifer.
Wow.
Jennifer says it was like he had not done anything and he really believed this other man had shot me. He kept saying, "Where'd your friend go?
Oh
Where'd your
my
friend go?"
God.
And I would tell him, she's at the car, remember? She didn't want to come, so you were just gonna take me here, remember? Like, he didn't even remember that Anna was dead.
Hmm.
So she lied and
Or
said,
else he
like,
keeps
she
saying that
wanted
to
to stay
drill.
with the car.
Yeah, it just makes me think either that or he keeps saying it to see what she'll say in response. Like, to see what she'll say under interrogation or something.
I don't know, if you listen to the tapes, he's,
Yeah.
like, really concerned about the police
Yeah.
not, or, like, the paramedics not being able to get to the house. He's like, do you want me to stand at
Uh,
the end of the driveway? I can stand there, then you know you'll be in the right place. Like, it's so weird. He's so, like, cavalier about it.
right. You have to really tell if he's like lying or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That
so
sucks.
weird. Jennifer stayed on the phone, and this is wild, stayed on the phone with 911 operators for an agonizing about 50 minutes from the initial phone call.
5-0.
When they got
Okay.
connected, that's how long it took for the paramedics to arrive at the isolated property.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
So they were on the phone between her and Parnell talking to this 911 dispatcher for almost an hour.
Because
Like,
they're not, like,
that's...
allowed to hang up. Yeah, but, like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took them that long.
Uh-huh. Once they arrived, the paramedics did not approach the house. Instead, they waited, parked at the edge of the property, where Parnell thought this was strange. So he went outside and approached the ambulance, like knocked on the window and told them that, hey, Jennifer's waiting inside for you. Like,
Whoa.
do you want to
Yeah.
come see her? And they were like, I guess he told Jennifer they didn't really say anything. So he just like went back inside. And when he returned to the house, Jennifer says in the episode that he told her that he didn't know what the paramedics were doing. They were just sitting outside.
What the
Like,
hell?
it's like, hey, don't you want to come get her?
Yeah.
But at this point, like, they hadn't hung up the phone. So I guess the operator must have heard that the paramedics were there now, or like gotten word. So Davidson, still on the phone with Jennifer, tells her to walk out of the house and head towards the ambulance.
This is so bizarre.
Yeah. So this is what Jennifer says. When I walked outside, he was right behind me. I remember fixing to walk up this hill, because there was like a big hill.
Oh, God.
The
Of
like
course.
trailers and stuff were kind of like at the bottom of the hill. So I
Yeah.
guess off the road, you kind of drive down into their property. So she remembers fixing to walk up this hill, and I wasn't sure if it was trees or something moving, and I thought, well, maybe I lost so much blood that I'm seeing things. And as Jennifer walked, she was not imagining things. What she saw was a SWAT team moving through the woods, headed towards Parnell, who they rapidly overwhelmed after a brief fight. He tried to fight back a little bit, and then they overwhelmed him and took him into custody. Meanwhile, she like describes walking up to the ambulance and like just being so happy to see somebody other than him.
Yeah, so that's why they were hanging back, because of the SWAT team.
Yeah. But it's so weird because she's like, yeah, he went up to the ambulance, and everybody's like, why'd he go up to the ambulance? But like, hey, she's inside. Do you want to come see her? Like, so bizarre. And then he goes back inside, being like, I don't know what they're doing. They're just waiting, I guess. Like,
all of
so
it's bizarre.
weird.
I'd be like, why would the ambulance people not get out? Yeah.
Yeah. And then why is like he going up to them, not threatening them, be like, hey, she's inside. Do you want to come see her?
Yeah.
She's badly injured.
Like, bring her out then. Yeah, I don't know.
Less than a day after the attack, the 31-year-old Eric Parnell was charged with first-degree murder, aggravated sexual assault, and kidnapping. A bunch of stuff said he was charged with like 2 life sentences. And I guess must not really have gone to court too much or anything, because during the jury selection he pleaded guilty to all charges and was sentenced to life in prison. So yeah, that was during jury selection, so I don't think it went to trial or anything like that. He just pled guilty. I have no other information about him. It's like really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know what his whole deal was, if there was a history of like mental illness or
like even his sentence. Couldn't find.
I think something said he like died in prison, maybe.
Oh.
Yeah. Most of what I have is just follow-ups. Yeah. Right? Fuck him. Most of what I have is just follow-ups for Jennifer and her life since. Obviously survived the attack, but her life was forever changed. Having sustained all those serious injuries, she faced many expensive surgeries and medical bills. And I think really sadly, as a result of this shooting, she was unable to continue working as an EMT.
Oh yeah, she wasn't.
So she lost her job, and then because she lost her job, she also lost all her medical insurance. So she had no way to pay for like the surgeries and stuff she was supposed to get. Like,
that's so fucked up.
Right? Fuck America. That was so sad when I read this.
It's like just when people need you the most, and your system's gonna fail them.
Right? And she was an EMT, so, like,
Yeah.
she saved and treated how many people?
Exactly, on top of all that.
Yeah. So with no public insurance options available at the time, um, most things said she went into massive amounts of debt and could no longer afford the remaining surgery she needed.
Oh my God.
For like, yeah.
This one was supposed to have a happy ending.
I mean, it does. For 2 years after the attack, she battled debt and serious health issues. She said she still couldn't feel the back of her hand at all, and she didn't have like fine motor skills, and she couldn't like put her hand up to her face. That was in 2007, so like 2 years later. By then, she had already underwent about 5 surgeries to repair a hole that was like in her bone, and trying to fight off infections from the nearly 40 shotgun pellets that were still left in her body.
Wow.
There was a 20-inch scar that runs along the back of her left arm, the one she was shot in. And she says any money that she makes goes towards her medical bills.
Because she kept her hand?
Yeah, so like in the episode, they kind of frame her so you only get like one glance, and most of the comments, people were under the assumption that her arm had been amputated. But that's not the case as far as like what I read. So I'm not too sure. Because in 2007, a little bit after she kind of told the news and they interviewed her about this, somebody heard about her survival story. The CEO of Memorial Hermann Hospital, who was like inspired by her survival and everything she did. And they agreed to cover all of her medical bills for these critical surgeries that she couldn't afford.
Oh, good.
Yeah. The operation was able to restore some of the movement to her elbow, which would allow her to complete simple tasks again. This made me so sad, like tying her shoes and opening containers, things that she could not do before. I was like, damn it. Like, the little things we take for granted.
Yeah. She lost the use of that hand for sure. Okay.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, until the surgery. Okay.
After the surgery, she told the Houston Chronicle, "My sole goal in life is to get somewhat back to what I was before. I know mentally and physically I'll never be able to go back to the job I used to have, but I'll be able to do something, I'm sure." The doctors, I think, in that interview for the paper said that they had left about 37 gunshot pellets in her left arm because they said that removing them would cause more like damage, like trying to cut away to get access to them after basically 2 years of not being able to get at them.
Okay, yeah.
And everything that would cause more nerve damage and everything than leaving them in.
Yeah. Which does happen. People live with bullets and parts. Yeah.
There was a KTRE interview. I like this because it had Robin Franklin, who was Anna's mother, who said, "You just wake up every day and it doesn't get any easier, but you learn to deal with it, but you miss her more." And in that same article, had some nice quotes, I thought, from the family. This was Jennifer saying, "Me and my cousin went to the store. We didn't know this man, and they did not cross paths, but she was on her cell phone the whole time. Something triggered and followed us from the store 4 miles down the highway. He shot at my car and then came up and shot her in the head and took me with him." Both women, I think this is supposed to be Anna's mom and Jennifer, say that they would do anything to have Anna walk through the door. They said that, Robin, Anna's mom, said her smile, her voice, she was so bouncy. I wish she would bounce through the door. Oh, that's sad. And Jennifer says that she talks about Anna all the time and wished other people would do the same, and really wants her son to remember her.
Oh, Anna's son, right?
No. I think Jennifer's son.
Oh,
Just
sorry.
remember his. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then I think this is Jennifer's son, Jonathan. I don't know how old he was. They said he was 6, so maybe he's 7 or 8 around this time. He said that he was glad she's in heaven and that she was looking down on them. Which that was sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Darn.
Yeah, that's the story. Pretty crazy. I don't think I would have the stomach to be able to cozy up with somebody that just shot and killed your cousin, critically wounded you and then assaulted you and then kidnapped you, and for hours.
Even to get past it in your mind. But before that, I'm like, everything, all my emotions always show on my face. I'd be like, how would you not look disgusted before you got a hold of yourself to try and empathize with them and appeal to them? Yeah, it's fucked up.
Right? Yeah, meanwhile, you're fucking bleeding out of your nearly severed arm. For hours, this is going on.
I was literally picturing a stump. I know that wasn't probably accurate, but yeah, I was like, oh my god.
I don't know how she described it. She said it was basically a little flap of skin that was holding one half of her arm to the other. So
that makes sense. It's war injuries. People get limbs literally blown off, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
It's yeah.
I think I heard someone tell a story about someone who skied over a landmine and he was so high on meth. He was like, "Where is my foot? What do you mean it's not there?" Oh my god. Oh man.
That guy in that 911 call you sent me that was I don't have any fingers, and sir, how did you call 911? And they're like, well, my finger. Yeah, he's like, oh, my fingers are back, thank you. And they're like, have a good day, sir.
He's like, you're an angel. She's like, no, I'm not.
Yeah. And then he's like, is your name this? And she's like, it is not.
I fucking love that. I get videos from that channel now, and I'm like, this is the best. People get so high and just call in. Oh my god. 911, what's your emergency? I don't have any hands.
I have knives. I can't pick cats. I can't remember what else he said he couldn't do anymore. He was so sad.
Are you Edward Scissorhands? Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Terrible. That was crazy though. Good job. Good story.
Yeah. Oh. I'm gonna go back and probably watch the whole episode again. But yeah, I'll embed it on our webpage, because listening to the 911, hearing her even talk and be like, they're like, 911, what's your emergency? And she's like, hi, I've been shot in the arm, my arm's just hanging here. And they're like, what? She's like, yeah, my arm, it's just hanging here. It's so cool. God damn. Yeah, it's crazy. And she even says, you can tell how calm my voice is. And I thought, yeah, sure. But no, it just sounds like I'm talking right now. It's wild. Even when he gets on the phone, he's like, so you want to take a left at the... It's like, Jesus
911 calls, man. Oh, they're crazy.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is DJ, and I'm the host of the Mythical True Crime podcast. Join me and the Darkcast network of indie podcast creators as we delve into the mysterious and the macabre, exploring captivating tales of true crime, legends, and unsolved mysteries from the realms of mythology and reality. Uncover the dark, true tales of modern legends with our spoken narratives that blend history, crime, and the supernatural. Just starting Season 3, you can listen to the newest episodes every other week, as well as all my backlog episodes on anywhere you can listen to your podcasts.
Okay. So I must admit, I don't exactly know if I'm going to pronounce this lady's first name properly, but it's not a common name, so I don't know if I could have looked it up anyway. Question mark.
Okay.
Her first name is spelled Teka, so I think it's Teka. I think that's what I was going with. But I suppose it could be Tika. I just don't.
I would think Tika.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know if I end up hearing any podcast coverage or anything. Like, I sometimes listen to people cover,
Okay.
like, verbally, but this time I think I just looked at articles. Even though I know it was on an episode of I Survived or something like that, because I remember looking up one of the sources was how I found out that I was like, oh, this is just, I can't watch this. This was covered on a podcast, yet it has an IMDb page. And that was what led me down the, do we have an IMDb page? Anyway.
And we do.
We do, apparently. Shoot. So, yeah, okay, yeah, maybe we'll go Tika, but either way, I apologize, because not having heard it before, I don't know how it's said.
Yeah, I think I knew somebody once who
Yeah.
had that as part of their name, and I'm pretty sure it's Tika.
Really?
Yeah, it might have been
Okay.
like part of a last name or something.
I like that better than any reasoning I've had to go on so far. Like, just because I hear someone else say it in one way, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's ones you can't look up that easily sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a common name, and there's like a bunch of different pronunciations depending on like the country.
This is true.
You're just like, this name in Italian, and it's like, here's one, like, one person's attempted Italian.
Yeah, I would say we do our best.
Yeah.
But it is her story, so Teka Adams' story, we'll call it. Tika was a rebel without a cause, so to speak. She lived her life her own way.
Nice.
Yeah. Hailing from Washington, D.C., she grew up there, and then by 2009, she was living on the streets. You know, that rebellious phase. But she had decided at this point that she'd had enough of that and was time to get her life in order. So she was kind of on that upward path or whatever. She had always had a loving family in the area, like including her father, who was very loving to her. His name was Gregory Burnett. So it wasn't like she had run away because home was bad or anything like that. So
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of understand. I had a rebellious phase like that where I'm like, I can't really blame anything super like horrible at home, but like,
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So I'm like, okay. I see
I
myself
think
a little bit.
my mom likes to tell people about the story when I was a kid, and I packed up a backpack and told her I was running away from home because I didn't like how she cooked Kraft dinner or macaroni and cheese.
The best reason.
And my mom's
it is
okay.
like the 5-year-old mentality though, right? It's like the like, I can't deal with this.
I was like, I don't like how you make it. I'm running away. And my mom looked at me and she says that she asked me where I was going, and I said, I'm going to my friend, and I told her which friend I was going to, and they said, okay, did you call? And I said, yep. And then she's like, okay, do you need a ride? And I was like, nope. And so I just started walking.
I got this.
I mean,
like,
I wasn't
organized.
I wasn't super young. I was probably closer to like 9 or 10, and it was like,
okay, yeah.
I don't know, like 2004, 2005. So the world wasn't as awful yet. Yeah. So it was basically I walked to my friend's house with a backpack, but I had told my mom I was running away because I didn't like how she cooked macaroni and cheese.
I love
She tells
that.
everybody all the time. And to this day, I still will not eat her macaroni and cheese. I don't like it. I'm the only one in my family that doesn't like it that way. Can
What?
so funny.
Okay.
Yeah, she makes it.
That's
She
funny.
adds way too much milk, and then a whole bunch of extra butter, and then a whole bunch of extra cheese. So it like gets very like liquidy. It's almost like a soup instead of like a
Oh,
sauce.
yeah.
it's-
Pat's very picky about like. I try making homemade mac and cheese, and he's like, "Give me the Kraft dinner. I will take the box stuff." Yeah,
Yeah.
like anything. Oh, that's so funny though.
Yeah. My dad's like, but then when you refrigerate it, all the noodles soak everything up. And I'm like, no, it's gross. I don't want it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm still
I'm
just
like,
picturing you with your little, what is that? The stick with the bag on the end of it that the
Yeah.
hobos have. I forget what they
She
call
was like,
it.
yeah,
right
you
now.
packed up a backpack. You said you were running away. And you, she's like, and I asked you why. And you're like, because I don't like your Kraft dinner. It's hilarious. And I'm like, yeah, I can picture that happening because that is like one hill I would not die on when I was younger. Is how my macaroni and cheese.
God damn it, foodies from the start.
Yeah, so I can see that where you're just like, oh, it didn't necessarily. Just like,
Right, like have to be anything bad. Exactly.
yeah, sometimes it's something stupid.
I think yeah, she had a great home life. Maybe at one point someone said it was even a little sheltered, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just feel like you got to get out there or something.
You
I
gotta
don't know
rebel
what
because
drives
you need to rebel, not because you have something to rebel against.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But at this point, she's got herself into living in a shelter. Oh, I said for women, but that's not true because she meets a man there.
Oh.
Sometimes I'm writing my notes. I'm like, don't embellish too much. You don't know if those details you're just like adding are true, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, this is my style of writing. I'll be like, oh. But yes, she's living at this shelter and starts getting things more in order. About 9 months into living there, she had met a guy named PJ, which is funny because his full name is Ronald Bell, so I don't know where the PJ comes in.
Oh.
Either way, they hit it off. He's also like getting clean and working on his own shit and whatnot. So they end up getting married. They're like fully schmitten.
Okay.
Yeah. She gets pregnante. So this is maybe not, maybe a little bit of a surprise. So they're very happy and excited, but also like worried because they're struggling to make ends meet and all that stuff, and not
Yeah.
like in a stable place. Yeah. But she's still very happy to be kind of where she is in life and how far she's come. And it said that she was in a place where she's like looking in the mirror one day and felt good enough to write a little poem that like I don't know, gave her some inspiration almost or something, or she felt good. I was like, oh, it's so cute. It went like this. As the sun begins to go down, I take a good look in the mirror at me. Damn, I must admit, I'm liking what I see. I was like, that's so cute. Just like a
That
little
is cute.
positive affirmation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing good, girl. I was like, oh. So as she's living at this shelter and whatnot, Teka eventually gets a call from an unknown number that turns out to be offering free baby supplies. And these people are reaching out to pregnant women, from the shelters or impoverished ones that might need the help.
Okay.
Yeah, and this person says she'd actually got Tika's number from the community like the shelter she'd been living at, which was called the Community for Creative Nonviolence for some reason.
Okay. I mean, I think that would be a
Fishy.
little weird. I'd be like, they
Yeah.
shouldn't ever be giving out your contact information.
Yeah,
Right?
she is not completely like just like, oh, I'm 100%. This is super, like, she is hopeful and like, this is really cool if this is legit. But obviously, yeah, people that have lived on the streets and stuff, and like, she's just not going to take anything at face value either.
Okay, good for her.
But like, this person calling says her name is Stephanie Mills. She works for a charitable organization that helps to provide infant clothing, supplies like bottles and stuff like that for new mothers that can't afford it, things like that. So, having said, like, yeah, she reaches out to women that have been at shelters and stuff. She offers to arrange a time to meet with Teka to be picked up and taken to a warehouse to look for baby clothing and stuff. But especially her husband there, PJ, wasn't very enthusiastic about the idea, and he was suspicious, saying like, I don't know if you should get in a car with a stranger like that, like, if I can't be there. Yeah. But again, they have no reason to believe that this is anything other than what it is. Neither should you, unless we were talking about it on a true crime podcast.
Right? I mean, what year did you say it was again?
It's like 2009.
Okay, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
We weren't as on high alert of that kind of stuff.
Oh no, it can be hard to recognize somebody being nefarious.
And 2009 internet was way different than
Yeah, because like, I guess we are kind of, maybe we think we're more primed for all the scams out there now, but they just keep coming and they just keep evolving and stuff. Yeah. Yes. So Teka is wanting to go get these baby clothes and stuff, and her man PJ is not as sold on the idea, but she's reassuring him it's fine. And they agree to meet up on December 2nd. And the morning of December 2nd, Teka gets up at 5:30 a.m. to get ready. Staying at the maternity home now is what it's called. It has a little bit more privacy for a pregnant woman like her than the shared bathrooms that she had to, endure at the shelter. She got her own little room and stuff. And that morning, PJ called her and was still urging her to wait till he can be there to meet up with the lady. But again, she's telling him not to worry.
No,
I know.
Always have to go with somebody.
If they knew what we knew.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she's staying in this lovely little place now. Like I said, it's for a maternity home for women. It's run by the Queen of Peace Missionaries of Charity, where nuns cook them their meals and keep the cupboards stocked. And yeah, she has her own little room and it's all nice. So eventually that morning, Stephanie is supposed to pick her up. She picks her up and they make their way down to the warehouse, talking the whole time. Teka is very chatty because Stephanie is kind of not. So she's giving some of her life story and how she's very hopeful for the future. She's just so grateful for the opportunity, and is willing to just be patient when Stephanie says they might need to make a pit stop at her place because she's got more car trouble, which is why they had to reschedule, I think, their first meeting.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, whatever, yeah, as long as we can get this done. And she's chatting away to Stephanie. She's talking about her childhood, how she was, creative and gifted, but was also then diagnosed as bipolar as like a preteen and disliked how the medications made her feel. So she had some like struggles there, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
After her parents split, she then acted out by running away from home, which started for longer and longer periods when she was about 14.
Damn.
So she was kind of transient and living with others when she got actually pregnant the first time and gave birth at about 23. She then gave that baby to her parents to take care of because she just didn't feel she was in the place to do so, I guess. So that is her first baby, whose name was Sadie, and she's being raised by her mom and dad. But now she had been working on repairing some of those relationships that she had kind of let go a bit, you know?
Yeah.
And now her daughter Sadie, who had been living with her parents, had started calling her like mom or mother. So she was like really happy, I guess.
That's nice.
Yeah, so she was like talking about how she was on the upward path in life, and she's talking, and then Stephanie is driving her towards her apartment, which is in this large pale brick apartment building complex, and they stop there so that they can get the car help that they need. I don't know. But
yeah, that's a little weird. I don't get that.
Well, the first thing I read, it didn't even say what the reason was they gave for stopping at the apartment. I was like, but there must have been something, you know? Like,
yeah.
Anyway.
Just like one time when we were supposed to take a direct flight and they told us the flight couldn't make it there, but it could make it half an hour shorter.
Really?
And do a layover somewhere, and it was because of like fuel reserve problems. And it's like, okay, cool. So like the half an hour grace period we is what's gonna keep us in the air. They're like, yeah, so we can't make it the 6 hours for this direct flight, but we can make it the 5.5 across the country, and then you'll get on a different plane and fly another 4.5 hours. And you're like, okay, cool. So like this half an hour difference is like life and death. You're like, damn.
My head is just tilting.
It made no sense to me. It's been, what, I don't know, 13 years since the flight. It still makes no sense to me.
There's something we didn't know.
Yeah, so weird. They're like, yeah, we can't store enough fuel to make it here, but we can make it half an hour less to here. And it was like, and then all I could think in my head was, well, if we can't land right away and we have to circle a couple times, that could take half an hour, and then what, we fucking die? Like, oh my god.
We're gonna be like that Seinfeld episode where they see how far they can get on empty, yeah, but in a plane.
Yeah. Filled with hundreds of people. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here, guys?
Were you with your like family and stuff? Like your parents? Okay.
Yeah, it was really, really weird.
Yeah. Yeah, bizarre. Be on alert, guys. Okay. Yeah, it must be feeling a little weird by now when she takes Teka to a small bedroom with very minimal furniture in it, except for like a TV stand and TV and stuff. But she says that she and her son had recently moved from New York. Yeah, she's like, we just got here, you know.
Okay.
Teka is getting uncomfortable, but just also trying to keep her calm and doesn't want to lose this opportunity at the same time. But yeah, it's kind of weird how they're in this bedroom that only has I guess it has an ironing board, a dresser, the TV, a stack of DVDs, and a bare mattress directly on the floor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like a kidnap room.
Right. Newspapers in the corner for people to cut letters out of.
Fuck.
Dark. They end up sitting there watching, I guess, some sources said a bootleg version of the movie Precious, which I think
what? Why?
I've never watched it.
I've never watched it. I knew it would make me sad.
I know, it wasn't okay. I don't even know. It won something, maybe. I think that's
it won some Oscars. I think it won some Oscars.
Yeah. But anyways, it's very strange, and Steph makes them some sandwiches, and like, what's her face? Teka is like, oh great, I didn't have time to like have breakfast. She got up at like 5:30 for this day. I don't know if I talked about that yet.
To go to this lady's apartment and watch Precious instead of... Damn.
Well, their appointment was in the morning, and like,
I know.
Anyway. Yeah. PJ calls and he's like, "Should I pick you up? I really like want to know if you're okay." And she's like, "Everything's okay right now." And she just doesn't want to worry him further by saying that she doesn't even exactly know where that she is at the time. But also she is
Oh.
so there is that, but she is also supposed to be back at the house, the maternity house by like noon. So I think she has some sort of curfew, maybe. I don't know. Or they're just expecting her back by then. Um, so when a second movie is put on and it starts, she's getting more uncomfortable at this point, and her senses are on high alert. When
Yeah.
suddenly,
Be like, what the
yeah,
fuck?
what the hell? Yeah, her senses are on high alert, but still she's suddenly blindsided, literally when a blanket is thrown over her head.
Damn.
So it's really not good from here on out, as you can imagine. She's repeatedly hit in the head by several hard blows that she doesn't even know where they're coming from because she's been blinded. But she struggles to her feet and manages to raise her hands above her head in sort of a defensive position. She's seeing blood dripping into her eyes, but she throws off as much of the blanket as she could and sprinted towards the door of the apartment.
Yeah.
Reaching the front door, she realizes it's triple locked with like a chain, a bolt, and a door lock. So like,
Damn. I mean, yeah, apartments.
yeah, even worse than like you know the hotel rooms, they have chain locks,
Yeah.
but like it's not normal for all I guess houses to have that. Really, I don't know. And as she's trying to open up these locks, Stephanie catches up with her. So she crashes into her, trying to tackle Teka to the ground, but Teka is wild with fright and fight, and they end up grappling with each other, where Teka kind of is able to wrestle the box cutter that Stephanie has out of her hands and attempts to fight
Damn.
back. Yeah, but when Stephanie gets a fire poker, it's like the longer weapon, so Tika's end up throwing
Yeah.
the box cutter, out of reach. She begins striking Tika with the weapon upwards of, I put 25 to 20 times, but I read it was up to 40 times. That was obviously a mistake.
Damn.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah.
And this poor lady's pregnant. The one source had a quote said when they went down fighting. First Stephanie was on top, then Tika. Stephanie opened her legs so that Tika's pregnant belly was between her knees and began squeezing Tika's stomach with her legs. Despite
What?
her smaller stature, 5'2" and usually 115 pounds, she got her hands around Veronica's throat, causing her to drop the fire poker. She could hear the other woman wheezing. Then she watched in amazement as Veronica threw her hands back and started praying. "You're praying?" she thought. "Are you crazy?" Yeah, she's fucking nuts. Oh my god. Her vision begins to dim and she passes out and wakes up. This is also a horror movie, to feel herself being dragged across the floor towards the kitchen.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Oh my
Oh
god,
my
it's
god.
so horror movie coded to me.
Yes.
Terrifying.
I feel like I've seen this
Stephanie.
movie.
Yeah. Ugh. Also, don't even get me started on the whole Wikipedia page about fetal abduction, because you couldn't have
Yeah.
guessed that's where this is going.
I thought maybe when you started talking about baby clothes and meeting her in a warehouse and not to bring her boyfriend. I was like, oh, we're gonna steal that baby. That's what's happening.
Right? It's
Oh,
terrible.
fuck.
But yeah, you're onto it. Um, but Stephanie lets her go and gives into the kitchen where she can hear her rummaging around as if looking for something.
Teka hears and sees Stephanie come back and kneel by her side, where she then felt a cold and sharp pain. And I guess at one point she leaves again to the kitchen area, and Teka hears her praying, "Lord, forgive me. I'm a sinner, or I've sinned. Forgive me." I wrote "I've sinner," so I don't think that was right, but it was something like that. I've sinner.
I have caught the sinner.
Okay, I'm gonna have to put a massive trigger warning in front of our whole episode because it's so awful.
Yeah, this was supposed to be a more uplifting episode. Why did both our cases go so bad?
It's graphic, but it does end up, with a pretty good ending.
She kicks her out of a window like the fucking Karate Kid.
Yeah.
She gets impaled on a tree.
Yeah, unfortunately, losing consciousness rapidly, Teka is terrified that she and her baby are going to die. She's losing blood from 2 major wounds, a head wound, and one that was on her torso at this point.
Damn.
So, yeah. Stephanie tells her to get up, and Teka says she doesn't think she can. So Stephanie is like cleaning up some of the blood around her and then helps her back to the bedroom with the mattress or whatever. And she was like apparently saying stuff like that she couldn't have the blood be such a mess when her like son came home, which was like, okay, bitch, whatever.
Oh, I'm sorry I ruined your nice plan of murder.
Like, ugh, so stupid. She then takes Tika's phone away, and that's when she's obviously pleading for her life, trying to humanize herself and do all the tactics that you can to appeal to your attackers like sympathy and whatnot. Stephanie clearly stresses pacing the room, but she's not really relenting. She I guess keeps putting on movies. I don't even know what the other movies were.
Damn.
I know what one other movie was. We'll get to it. It's fucking weird. Teka watches Stephanie, too scared to let herself sleep, even if Stephanie does. She asks if she would be let go, to which Stephanie replied, "I don't know. I need to know how to get out of this." Like, she's obviously just taking it minute by minute. I don't know.
What the hell?
It's just so disorganized.
Yeah.
If you have ADHD and you're not medicated, maybe you shouldn't murder people. No. We're just
But if you are medicated, Alanna endorses murdering.
Yeah, no.
Alanna says
at least be better at it. Oh
Make a list, plan ahead, and murder that person.
Check it twice.
It's making a list, she's stacking it twice. She's gonna murder everybody on that list. Damn.
Sorry, I just was thinking about that movie we both said we watched again, but whatchamacallit, anyway.
We're not allowed to talk about anything until the Patreon episode.
That's right. It was, what do they call it? A ban. There's a moratorium on it. No.
Yeah.
Okay, but unfortunately, this torture goes on into the next night and into the next day for poor Teka. Yeah. Basically, it's like 3 days total.
That's crazy.
It's so horrifying.
How didn't she die from blood loss or something?
I know, and it's all in an apartment building, and I know she's like trying to preserve herself and is too scared, but like, what if she had screamed? Like, she might have been killed right away. So she could have maybe not survived, but maybe someone could have saved her sooner. I don't know. Just sucks.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's how, I was thinking about it the other day how people always say, "Oh yeah, I heard screams, but I thought they were watching a movie or something, so I ignored it."
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking,
That's
like,
the
oh
worst.
my god, like, what would you even do? And I'd be like, you'd have to get real specific. You'd have to start screaming, like, I live next door to you. This is the address. This is not a movie. This is real. Call the cops. You'd have to be like, you'd be
to
like,
not implicate yourself or whatever. Exactly.
yeah. But like, if somebody was attacking you and you didn't want them to think you were just watching a movie, especially in like apartment or something like that, you'd have to be
Yeah.
like, this is the address. This is not coming from a movie. You need to call for help. Don't ignore this.
It's real. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't just be like, this is real. Ah, help me. Ah. You have to be like, this is my name. This is my address.
Deal with it.
Gordo. Hi.
So unfortunately for Tika, Veronica's son eventually arrives, and he's just willing to help hold Tika down while she's tied up with duct tape and stuff.
What?
Yeah.
How old is her son?
I believe he's an adult son. I'm not
Okay,
entirely
so
sure.
for some reason in my head, I was picturing like a 10-year-old. I was like, the fuck?
No, because I don't think so, because at this point, this woman is like 40 when she gets
Oh,
arrested.
okay.
So
Okay,
I
I
don't
was
think
picturing
so.
like I was picturing like some 20-something with a young child. I was like, what the hell?
Yeah. No, but it's still fucked up. Strangely, she's left to sit out there that night. So she'd been bound with duct tape, like wrists and ankles. But then instead of doing something to her that night, they just kind of like, I guess, left her there and like fed her a little bit. I'm just like, this woman did not know what she was doing at all.
Yeah, what the heck?
She was just flying by the seat of her pants. The next day, they unbind Tika long enough to shower and wash the blood from her hair. And, like, why? Because then your ordeal is far from over. Stephanie lets her dry off and then starts actually cutting her own cutting Tika's fingernails. And she's like, what are you doing? Why are you cutting my fingernails? She's like, because my DNA will be under them. So she's like, trying to already cover up the evidence.
I've been like, oh yeah, let me add some more.
Yeah. Do I look like I'm dead yet?
Does it look like I didn't just bleed like everywhere in your kitchen?
Right. Yeah. You don't think they'll get some DNA from that?
Spray it with some luminol. You think it's gonna light up like Christmas? Like, what the hell, lady?
The luminol thing always makes me think of anyway, there's a scene with what's his face in The Office, Dwight, where his family sings. They paint their walls with luminol. And you're like, what? We think our mouths with cinnamon. It's a really catchy song, but really weird lyrics, I must admit.
Is that part of... Did Michael Schur write it?
Probably.
He plays the one cousin or something, doesn't he? Or brother?
Oh, yeah. Mose. I think so.
So funny. They're like, oh, that one scene, that dude running. He's the one that wrote the whole show. He's running beside the car like a psycho. It's like, ah!
Oh, God. Okay. We can do this, guys.
Power through.
Power through. So after Stephanie's cutting her nails, then she leaves her alone for a bit and comes back with a strange assortment of items, including 2 box cutters, a couple of rags, 6 towels, and a box of ice.
Oh my god.
Things aren't looking good. Then she puts Michael Jackson's documentary on in the background. This is it. And you're like, that's right. This is it. It's over.
What? Okay. It's too much now.
I don't think I've seen this. This is like a documentary.
No, I haven't either.
2009. I guess it was all the rage. But like Tika's like, I'm about to be tortured to death while backup dancers talking about trying to get on the King of Pop's tour. Like, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
And apparently, according to one source detail, Stephanie continuously rewinds and rewatches if it gets past like a certain part in the movie while all this horrible shit is going on. So it's like she's, you know, gotta like enact the ritual. I don't know.
Weird.
Just hate it. It's very weird. You are absolutely correct.
Like, oh, we're not finishing on schedule at the same time as the movie. I have to pause it.
Right. And like, yeah, I got a little confused about when and where she got help from that son she was mentioning. Tying her victim up and stuff, but she stuffed a do-rag at one point in Teka's mouth and wrapped duct tape all around that and all the way around her head.
Damn.
And then when we got on the phone, I couldn't help but notice on the video call that Kelsey was wearing a do-rag around her head, a bandana. I was like, whoa.
Dun, dun,
Anyway.
dun!
Yeah. You're the traitor. No. Oh, God. I'm sorry. This is really... Mine's really, really horrifying. There's just another trigger warning for about how graphic it's going to get again. Because, like, this impromptu surgery, if you can call that, begins where, you know, she's trying to take the baby out. Cutting, sawing through Teka's flesh and muscle into her abdomen, and it feels like she's like, oh, I can't do it with the knives and stuff, so she starts like almost being clawed apart by her fingers.
The frick.
It's so gross. And eventually Teka passes out from the pain and the blood loss and everything. Funnily enough, when we start doing research for our survival ones, I was listening to And That's Why We Drink, and she did a case where the woman was like holding her innards in, and I was like, wow, isn't that fun? We have so many similar stories this week. It's so gross and horrible.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when Teka wakes again, Stephanie is actually sleeping curled up in front of the bedroom door. So she's like, this may be my only chance. I'm going to gather my strength and try and fucking run.
Yeah.
Praying to God and everything else. She staggers to her feet and steps over Stephanie, hoping not to wake her. She manages to make it to the front door, but this time she gets all 3 locks open and stumbles outside. There's a stairwell she has to go down in the apartment, and she goes down a floor and starts knocking on several apartment doors, trying to get people to assist her.
Okay, smart. Go down a floor first.
Right? It's like
not immediate.
Yeah, no one's answering though, and she finds herself struggling to remain conscious. And unfortunately, the next thing she knows, she's waking up at the bottom of the stairs with Stephanie standing over her because she's passed out again from
Jesus
blood loss. Teka screams bloody murder in a last-ditch effort to save herself, and it actually works when a man opens his door a crack to see the two locked in another like fight to the death, I would assume. Yeah, Stephanie's like putting on a smile and just being like, everything's okay. I'm just a charity
Never mind
worker.
this. Yeah, this bloody woman.
I'm just helping her. This is my job, you know? Yeah, she's basically saying all those things. So Teka just screams, please help me. She's trying to kill me. And then she kind of realizes that she's wearing like a navy blue shirt that might be so dark the bloodstains aren't really apparent. So she like lifts up her shirt like she's just gonna flash the guy, right? And then he sees that like her torso is like coming apart.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck? I'm calling the cops. And he runs back in the apartment. Yeah.
Wow. That's smart.
Yeah. I know, I can't believe she had to be like, look at this! Like,
yeah. Oh my god.
Anyway, good for him though. So Stephanie runs. The EMTs arrive, and they're shocked to see Teka's state. And she just says, "I have been beaten, and I'm cut open, and I need help." She's just
Yeah.
laying it out there. And the next thing she knows, she's waking up in a hospital bed with PJ right beside her. Just like, ah, like happy
Yeah.
ending.
Fuck.
Before she can get the words out of her mouth to ask, a nurse enters and tells her that the good news is she has a healthy baby girl.
Oh.
So amazing after all that. Miraculously, the infant had been like tucked up in an area of the womb that kept her safe. So apparently kind of like up towards the top or something. I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
They ended up naming her the Miracle Sky for her name.
That's cute.
I know. And I love this quote from what's her name herself, Teka. She said, "I survived because I was coming to a point in my life where I started to love myself and respect myself and cherish life. I survived because of God and my support system. I know a lot of people love me, and I know that God loves me. And like they say, God looks after babies and fools. And I had a baby, and I was a fool." Isn't
Nice.
that just so sweet almost? Oh. Anyway, it was amazing that they did. And then also like a stroke of luck that this Stephanie person like called the police to turn herself in rather than having to be hunted down, which is pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Shocking,
Well, I mean,
right?
yeah, like how hard would it have been to find her, I guess, even?
Well, she was using a fake name, so probably a little bit hard.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
guess. Like they would have like apartment leases, vehicle stuff to go off.
Phone
Right?
records, exactly, because she called multiple times before Teka even like picked up or whatever. Yeah. But it's crazy because yeah, she was going by the name of Stephanie Mills, but her real name was Veronica Daramos. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but yeah, that was her real name.
Damn.
She sometimes even went by Veronica Quinn, which was like her old married name. So she was under the radar. And okay, this was weird to me because the motivations usually for these type of cases that they don't like can't have kids or whatever. They're telling people they have kids, but she had 4 kids of her own. She'd actually already had.
Okay, yeah. That is the
Mhm.
most common thing I've heard.
I know a lot of these articles have like links to like, oh, fetal abduction on Wikipedia, which by the way, so many cases on that webpage where you're like,
It's
holy shit,
scary.
right?
I think I even heard of maybe a couple or something that had abductions that happened in like hospitals. People
Ooh,
going in
yes.
and just taking a baby out of a
Sometimes when
hospital.
they're very, very young
Yeah.
and someone's posing as a nurse, yeah, that's really
Yeah.
scary. I
Like,
hate it.
damn.
I know, it's so fucked up. And this one, yeah, no less kind of gross. Like, what did I say last? Oh yeah, this Veronica person, she'd had kids of her own. Um, and like when she said they just moved into the area, her and her son, they'd been living there since earlier that year. Um, she'd grown up in the area. She'd been a high school track athlete. She'd joined the military. She'd served from 88 to 99 and earned rank of corporal. So she had actually done well in the military, rather.
Huh.
Yeah, it's like kind of strange. She'd got routine commendations. In 96, she starts serving in a Texas Army National Guard unit in Austin. Later spent some time at Fort Hood, which I was like, oh, Fort Hood.
Yeah.
That had some violent past. But like it's kind of that whole like the neighbors are all like, I trusted her, she babysit our kids, like they had
Yeah.
no reason to think she wasn't normal. But around 2002, she'd had her first conviction, which was a first-degree forgery. So she'd kind of started skirting the law then. She screwed over a coworker who'd co-signed on an apartment with her and like got evicted and then incurred credit card debt in that coworker's name as well by using it. So she like really fucked over that person. Some identity fraud in February 2009, to which she pled guilty. And before all this craziness, she'd been working at a pediatric practice where she worked as a medical assistant, and they said she was very close to a lot of people there, but also, unfortunately, the pregnant ladies that had worked there too. And she told them that she was also pregnant for whatever reason. Yeah. Which to me is a really different one because she already had kids. So, like, I don't get it.
I mean, when you were listing, like, her other crimes and if she had had dad, I was like, oh, maybe she was gonna, like, get the baby and then, like, pretend the baby was hers or something. And then, like...
Something to try and gain money in some fashion.
Yeah, and try and, like, maybe put the baby up for adoption or sell the baby or something. Yeah. But that's right. If she was going around telling coworkers that she was pregnant, that doesn't seem to make sense. That's weird.
I just don't get how that, if that's the case, that's your only motivation, is that you told people you were already pregnant, so now you have to get a baby? Like, what?
Yeah, that's really weird.
Especially, again, given the fact that she did not have trouble having them herself. So it's just...
Yeah. I mean, you can get pregnant at 40.
I know, yeah. I mean, they might not recommend it nowadays, but, like, we've come a long way with modern medicine, and it's not even always as dangerous.
Yeah.
But...
That's weird. That doesn't even make sense to me.
I don't get the motivation. But I know she got charged. She got first-degree attempted murder, kidnapping, first and second-degree assault, false imprisonment, and reckless endangerment was her charges for this case.
Damn. Did her son get charged with anything?
I was just going to say, some sources say that her son, I can't confirm if he was, but they were at least thinking about charging him with something because he was helping to hold her arms down and shit, like to keep her.
Well, he at least knew he could be charged with false imprisonment.
Right.
I mean, he was
accessory
aware
to this crime, exactly.
Yeah, in 3 days.
I would think so.
Damn.
So this 40-year-old Veronica, whatever the fuck her last name was sentenced in November 2010 to 25 years in prison with her plea bargain. And I do remember they said that Miracle Sky, the baby, and Teka were in attendance, at least for the preliminary hearing. And she was dressed all in pink, and they were at least there to be like, ha ha ha, we survived. You can't keep us down. Yeah. So cute.
That's
and now they all live
weird.
Together in the apartment with the older sister. And I don't know.
Nice.
Right? I don't know what the fuck with this one.
It's just like mine. Like, just there isn't anything I found that I had access to that talked about the motivation. Like,
it's left to you to wonder why.
Because, like you said, she said she was like calling a bunch of pregnant women in like different shelters, or that's what she claimed.
They definitely mentioned her being closer to some of the pregnant ladies that were on staff at the pediatric clinic or whatever. And you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, but then how did she get in contact with Teka? And she told Teka that... Yeah, Yeah,
Like,
she's
she
like
obviously at one
calling
point was
her.
like, well, I'm a scam artist now, and I'm going to use my connections here or get information from this shelter. And
Yeah.
yeah, contact this lady. I'm going to prey on vulnerable people, is what she obviously said to herself. Yeah, it's fucked up.
Damn. Yeah, that's really weird.
I know. And let me tell you, man, were there some choices for survival
Right?
stories? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I told you I was listening to And That's Why We Drink when there was one where she was like holding her guts in. And I was like, we are just about to talk about a survival story. Now you're going to tell me a crazier one? No. But like,
Right?
just one,
Yeah.
yeah, they're always crazy because you don't expect people to survive once they've been like shot 15 times or whatever. Like, you're like, there's no way. But oh, it's so cool. It's like, obviously, well, maybe there's here for a reason or whatever.
Right? People fight back.
Yeah. Hot damn. It was really
Yeah.
good. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, we'll have to
it-
do this again, even though we both did such downer episodes. I mean, it is true crime, but
and it is survival. Like, technically, nobody fucking died.
except in mine. One person died in mine.
Shit, you're right. Fucking Anna. God damn it. Rest in
I
peace,
know.
Anna. Your name is almost my name too. I had to
I
talk
know.
to Alanna Marie on the phone the other day, and I was like, literally, your name is my name, but without an A, because her name was just Lana Marie, and I'm like, I'm Alanna
Oh,
Marie.
nice.
Anyway, yeah, it's so stupid.
Yeah, I kept wanting to put like ANNA, and I was like, nope, it's a single N for Anna.
Is
And then
it
I was like,
okay?
yeah. I was like, this is so hard for me to type because I like don't know anybody that's just one single N.
Yes. I think it's more Spanish, but I'll have to ask my friend Anna at work, who's from El Salvador. And I think she's goes by her middle name now because her husband. I was like, wait, is your first name really Rebecca? We all call you Anna. Well, my husband liked it better. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people go by their middle name.
I know, it's weird, but when you don't know that, it's weird to find out that they do, right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Anyway. That's weird because I was listening to a podcast earlier. She's like, I swear, Anna Sophia. And I was like, your first name is Anna? I thought you went by this name. Oh my God. Anyway, we will see you next week. I don't think we know what we're talking about next week yet, but we will be doing our Patreon very soon. So stay tuned for that and keep it cryptic.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Castles and Cryptids. We love all our listeners and appreciate every subscriber, every new review, every listen, rate, and download. Our music is by Kobe Off Air, and our cover art is by Antonio Garcia. We are also a proud member of Darkcast Network, where you can find the best and spookiest of all indie podcasts. Follow us on social media, where we are at Castles and Cryptids on mostly all of the things, now including TikTok. Check out our bonus content on Patreon, cryptid clashes, video minisodes of your host making asses of themselves, Ask Me Anything, quizzes, other special episodes, and more. Starting at just $2 a month, you can get 1 to 2 extra episodes, depending on your level. We produce, edit, and research everything ourselves, and any support you can lend helps us to keep it cryptic.